Hello producers, it's Özgün here. In this tutorial we are gonna transform this into this. We are gonna talk about saturation and distortion and making our signal rich without raising the volume. Because when you try to hear some certain element in the drop, if you give it more volume, you are going to lose headroom. But if you saturate the signal, you can keep the same volume, but you will have a bigger sound. If you are using saturation wisely, you can make your sounds bigger without giving any of the volume to them, and it's gonna help your mix down to sound big without killing the headroom. And if you're ready, let's get into that tutorial. So I created this pattern. It's nothing special. I made it for sake of this tutorial. Let me show it first. So if you take a look of the track, you can see we have a kick, we have the bass, which is just created by the Rumble plugin, which I made for Patcher. If you missed this one, you should watch my Rumble video. I'm gonna put a link. And yeah, we have the future Rave lead, very basic. As you see, we only have an EQ and the patcher patch that I'm using for my delay and reverb and a sidechain, that's all. So there's nothing saturated in here. Let me take a look of the drums. And they sound like this with the kick. So the first thing, you should choose the best samples. Once you do that, you gotta process them wisely. Okay, we can start with the bass first, then I'm gonna go to the other elements. Let's see what kind of bass we have. The bass, I didn't make any processing, I just put an EQ, I boost the fundamental notes. I'm boosting first and second root, and then I'm boosting the fifth, so you get some resonating effect, which makes the bass is really full in my opinion. Okay, so how we use the saturation? For this case, we can use the overdrive, we can even use the distortion, but I think overdrive, especially blood overdrive, is really good on basses. Unless you are using a bass from a sample pack which is already saturated and processed, it's okay, but if you are making your bass by yourself, if you're generating it from Serum, I don't know, any of the synth, you should saturate it and make the signal bigger. Okay, let's check with span how it looks. So this is without saturation. And now I'm gonna give it some saturation. To do that, I always give a bit preamp and lower the post gain so I don't get clipped. I just stop where it starts clipping. Okay, I want you to look the span. When I'm turning on and off the overdrive, just see how the signal is becoming rich and losing it when I turn it off. As you see, if I want more rich signal, I need to lower the post gain so I don't clip. It's applicable on every other saturation and overdrive plugin. When I'm giving the preamp, it saturates the signal. So now we get several dBs maybe volume. To do that, we can just lower the bass and we can go to LFO tool and try to match them with the kick. And you already know, my point is when I'm trying to balance my kick and bass, I'm trying to put them into the same length in LFO tool in the waveform, because most of the time you don't even hear the lowest frequencies if you don't have a dedicated sub. So it's always good to use the visuals and figure it out if you have the correct volume. And right now our volume is just fine. I'm just matching it with the sub of the kick. So now they are really dancing together very well. So just check it out when I turn it on and off. It's adding the upper harmonics, which makes the signal really more rich. And if you're careful enough, you see I put the overdrive before my EQ. You could do that after, but after that, the overdrive is gonna add so much higher upper harmonics. You should put another EQ to cut it, you know, because it's gonna be so much dirty if I put it after the EQ. If you want to use it after, just don't forget to cut the unwanted frequencies. But in this kind of cases, I mostly use saturation, then I go EQ my sound. And yeah, like just the overdrive, it's put our sub to another level. Now it's so big and like feeling the low spectrum. Okay, let's go to the leads now. As you see, I don't have anything on the leads. I just have an EQ and a delay reverb, that's all. So in this case, again, you gotta think, do you want to saturate your signal after you have the reverb? So do you wanna saturate your reverb, or you just wanna saturate your instrument, then apply the reverb? Because it's gonna make a big difference. Okay, for the leads, let's try Fruity Waveshaper, which is a nice saturation plugin, and you can just boost the signal and generate the upper harmonics. And in this case, I'm gonna use it for my leads and see what happens when I just turn it on. And yeah, after boosting the signal, I don't wanna spend more time on the leads because you already know you can put a camel crusher, you can do so much stuff. After you saturate your signal and make it big, like color with EQ, give delay and reverb, and after that you can just saturate your signal once more. And with this, you are gonna have your delay and reverb also saturated and become really big. It's sometimes just messing around the mix, becoming too dirty, but in some cases, if you have a minimalistic track, it can fill your track so well with only one sound. Maybe we don't even need to use Camel Crusher. To demonstrate it, let's put another Waveshaper after the delay and reverb. And yeah, as you see, we saturated the leads and then we colored it, we give delay and reverb, and then we saturate the whole chain once, but with a less value, like not as hard as we applied to the dry leads. Now the saturated kick, bass, and lead, they sound like this. Okay, sounds good. Let's go to the hi-hats. Let's go to the drums. Those are my drums. I always mix my drums while I'm listening my kick and sometimes bass. In the first row of mixing, I always balance them with the kick. So let's do the same. When you check the span, your cymbals, your drums shouldn't be bigger than your kick and bass. When you are mixing your hi-hats and claps and some other drums, you shouldn't go too much higher than your kick and bass together. Let's see. So my kick and bass is going to -30. All of my drums should be at -30 maximum. With this knowledge, we can do something like this. Let's go to an empty channel and I'm gonna route this channel to my drum bass. Okay, this time I'm gonna add a blood overdrive. I'm gonna click this multiply 100 button, so it's kind of like a distortion plugin, and let's give it really too much gain. And I'm gonna lower it for now, and I'm gonna route my closed hi-hat to the distortion channel, and let's see how it's gonna sound. I'm just destroying the sound because I'm not gonna use it 100%. I'm just making it revert. When I'm listening my kick, I'm just gonna blend the distorted signal because distorted signal goes back to my drum bass, so I will have close hi-hat dry as it sounds from the mixer channel, and it's gonna give me the blood overdrive distorted saturated signal, and we are gonna blend the signals. It's gonna make the head so much bigger. I want to put a fruity balance because I don't want to remove the volume of the channel. Overdrive making it so loud, so to gain stage properly, I'm gonna remove several of dBs with fruity balance. And also you can just cut the lows because the distortion plugin gives it a really big nasty unwanted low end. You gotta cut this, and I'd go linear phase for this kind of cuts. It's gonna sound more accurate if you choose this one. Yeah, as you see, it becomes so big. And let's apply this to other drums. Maybe I can do it with my bass on. And yeah, now we almost have the same height with our kick and bass. Now we have a balanced mix down. So let's hear with everything on. Okay, let's hear how the mix sounds right now. And I'm gonna just turn on and off the distortion channel so you can hear the difference. And also, before I end the video, I want to demonstrate it what I do in my tracks. This is what I do. You can go punish in here and you can go a really big drive. And then you do the same stuff, you know. Because the good thing with it, it has the gain compensation when you give drive. It removes the output, so you don't need to deal with the filter balance. You don't need to gain stage your signal. You can just put Decapitator and put the EQ and do the same stuff. Maybe I can just quickly demonstrate because the balances could be changed. The distortion chain sounds like this in Decapitator. For me, Decapitator sounds more analog and, I don't know, more bright. It's a really nice plugin, but you get the point. You can use various of different distortion plugins, saturation or overdrive plugins, and saturate your drums in a separate bus, and you blend the signals. Then you get the big drums. And yeah guys, this is how I achieve the big sounding tracks without like killing my headroom, without messing with the volume balances, and you will achieve the big sounding with less plugins. You can have a distortion chain and you can just send the necessary drums to that chain, and with only one send you can just saturate all of your drums like this. I hope this tutorial give you a point of view and an approach how to make the sounds bigger. And today that was it guys. I hope you can apply this to your own productions. See you on the next video. Bye bye.